A very good morning, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Harpal and I'm a senior student counselor here with Edwise International. I welcome you all in today's live session. So we have been doing these live sessions since a very long time, and we basically do these on FB and Instagram to keep you all well posted with the study abroad options, the post-COVID-19 updates on the education abroad, and this helps you well to plan further for your studies if you're looking for any international university. So today's topic of discussion is information and all the updates about studying in New Zealand, as borders are opening up around October 2022 and students can plan from now. We will also be having a Q&A at the end of this discussion, and that's where you can ask questions. We will also be having 2 alumni joining in, and where you can ask your all questions related to New Zealand, their experience, how the border opening is happening, and what are latest updates they share with you. So talking about the country first, New Zealand, a very power-packed country. It's a small country. It's a small island country. Basically, it's made up of 2 islands, North and South Island, which is in the Southern Western Pacific region. And the country has a population of around 5+ million, which is quite less compared to the country landmass. So which means that the government of New Zealand is welcoming, and they are pretty much looking to increase the manpower in the country. So lots of job opportunities are also upcoming with the new border openings for students from our country. Now, firstly, talking about the New Zealand, as I said, it's a very small country. It's a country made up of 2 landmass, North Island, South Island, and it's surrounded by around 650-700 small islands, which has lots and lots of opportunities for hospitality, because New Zealand is one of those countries which is known for its scenic beauty, lots of beaches, a good infrastructure, and has scope for hospitality, civil construction, IT, and other skills, which we'll be talking further. If you're thinking to study in New Zealand, then you're at the right place to start, as this is a magnificent adventure that you're going to experience through the alumni talk that we do and what the information that we give you. For most people, New Zealand is an exotic destination due to its far-flung location. It's a country which has a unique culture. It's a stunning natural environment with lots of natural resources and scenic beauty, as I said, with endless possibilities of adventures, of sports, of skill sets that you're looking in. And what's more exciting about New Zealand is the education system, because compared to the other countries, it's quite different. Like we have here in India is we have a college affiliated to universities. New Zealand has a very different system altogether. They have altogether 8 universities in New Zealand. All the 8 universities are highly and class world recognized. They all come under the QS World Ranking. Of these 8 universities, most universities, they focus towards the research as well. The research study part, when we talk about the research, is PhDs and doctoral studies. As well as there are 16 ITPs, which are government-funded colleges or institutions known as Institutes of Technologies and Polytechnics. These institutions will provide you education with certificate level diplomas, advanced diplomas, bachelor's, graduate certificates, postgrad diplomas, masters. And then there are 16 PTEs, which are also known as the private training establishments. These are privately funded institutions, which will provide you the similar kind of level of education that you get to see at a institution that is a ITP or a university. Now, talking about Edwise, we are been sending students since last 30 years. We have completed 30 years in the market, and we help students with New Zealand visas, New Zealand process, and everything. So right from the counseling till you reach the country, Edwise takes care of everything, and you can also meet and talk to our counselors who will be sharing information about the country, about your process, about your planning, in terms of the loan part or the visa or the IELTS coaching and everything. So New Zealand is a great destination for international students. They have world-class education system. All the universities adhere to the standards that are being regularly monitored by the government, and to ensure that they have consistently high level of education irrespective of what and where you choose to study in New Zealand. So New Zealand houses some of the best universities and institutions and colleges in the world to choose from for an international student. So you will find that the fees of these universities and institutions comparatively way, way less than the other countries that we also target. And majorly I think students, they look forward for a comparison of New Zealand with Canada, because quite a similar education system. And the only difference that we'll point out today is going to majorly make you understand as to, if you miss out on September for Canada, how New Zealand helps, because New Zealand's opening border in October 2020. So Canada has major courses in business management, they have media engineering, they have nursing, computer science, and they have hospitality, amongst many others as such. Whereas New Zealand has more scope for hospitality. That's one of those key skill sets that New Zealand survives a lot on. And they are pretty much looking for people. As I said, it's a very small country made up of 2 islands. The government of New Zealand, what they're demolishing the old buildings and they're constructing new ones, which means civil construction, IT has a very good sector, health sciences has a very good scope there. So this is the kind of skill sets with all the others like engineering, business studies, IT, computing, tourism, and hospitality and visual communications. They have a very good scope in New Zealand as such. When it comes to the comparison on the fees of both the countries, if you'll see, Canada compared to New Zealand is quite, similar. Whereas when you expense for Canada would be around 10-11 lakhs, the same, you would spend in New Zealand is around 11-12 or maybe 13 lakhs. So on a different side of the living expenses, when you see, New Zealand would cost you around 7.5 lakhs a year, whereas Canada would cost you on a living around 6.5 lakhs a year, which is pretty manageable, because all the countries that you go abroad, they allow the students to work part-time. So similarly, New Zealand also has a 20 hours a week part-time work right that helps the students to take care of their living expenses. Normal wages that an employer would pay when you work part-time is around $18 plus. This is what as of now, or the students have experienced in the past, is we're expecting some good wages in the future for students who are looking to study in New Zealand as such. Other than this, the intake for both the countries comparatively, wherein New Zealand has a February, July, September, October intake, whereas Canada has a Jan and September. September pretty much closed for admissions now. They are starting up with the Jan intake. If students are very keen, who don't want to miss out a year and don't want to miss out on going in a near future, maybe 23 or further, then you have a chance that you can get into New Zealand, and you will be getting to studies directly live there. Not to be studying from India online. If the borders opening by this year, that is October 22 is the latest news that we have got, so you can plan your studies for New Zealand as such, and would save on that 1 year of yours to study abroad. The English language requirements on both the countries, IELTS is what we normally suggest. It's globally accepted. Any country that you pick up accepts an IELTS. So IELTS for undergrad students and overall 6, each band 6 is what we normally suggest you to score. For postgrad students, that includes your postgrad diplomas, your graduate certificates, your masters and your PhDs and doctorals would need you to have a 6.5 or 7 out of 9, and each band has to be 6 out of 9. So IELTS can be taken in both the countries. Additionally, New Zealand allows you to also, they accept TOEFL as well, they accept PTE as well. Whereas in Canada, they would only accept IELTS as a requirement. There in universities in Canada, you will have a requirement of GRE, GMAT, whereas the universities in New Zealand will not ask you for that particular requirement. So you save your time and money when it is the entry requirements. You save that kind of time, which will not be a barrier for you to get admissions and move out this year itself. New Zealand is easier to get into diploma courses and degrees, and there are different levels of studies in New Zealand. So there are something called as certificate courses, which in New Zealand are called as level 1, 2, 3 and 4. For Indians particularly, students are going after their class 12th can get into diplomas, which are level 5 and 6. They can get into advanced diplomas. They can get into bachelor's and graduate certificates, which is a level 7 course. They can get into postgraduate diplomas, which is a level 8, master's level 9, and doctoral degrees at level 10. So there are these different levels of studies that you can, according to your requirement and convenience, can pick up a country and pick up a level and then start with your studies. For each course, Indian students will have to meet up an English language requirement. As I said, 6.5 in IELTS 6, mandatory. Edwise does provide you coaching for the same. And if students were looking to get in the coaching, please contact us at edwise.in. We have multiple branches. We are doing virtual, counseling sessions for students. So if students who cannot travel to our offices can, avail the opportunity and talk to a counselor live and get hands-on information as such. Now, talking about the course-wise expenses, undergrad expenses in New Zealand would cost you around, say, 11 to 12 lakhs, 14 lakhs around on a higher side a year, whereas the masters would cost you around 15 to 18 lakhs a year, quite similar or quite feasible then compared to what other countries are providing you. The living expenses, as I said, is a 6.5 lakhs here in Canada, whereas in New Zealand would cost around 7.5 lakhs a year, which is pretty much easy to manage from your part-time work, right? Because your part-time work, right, does allow you to work while you are studying. A national holiday, semester breaks and vacations helps you to work full-time, and that's where you get to earn those bonus savings which you can. One of my students, he has worked on a national holiday and he said he got a $55 an hour. That was in Australia. Well, we don't expect that kind of the same wage in New Zealand, but expect around 35-40 a year an hour. That still helps to make those bonus savings, and that's where you can have those additional savings later if you need anything at an emergency. So that's how the postgraduate expenses would be. Now, talking about the border opening, this is what everyone's been desperately waiting for. New Zealand as in such a packed country, and students would want to get in. So there's a good news for all the international students is that the government is planning to open borders by October this year, and they'll be opening in 5 different phases. So phase 1 that's opening on 27th of February. That's open, and this allows the New Zealand citizens, the residents, and otherwise eligible to enter while the border is restricted. They are fully vaccinated people. So basically for New Zealand citizens is the phase 1 that allows them who is a resident or a resident visa holder. Phase 2 allows people who are basically border opening for health requirements for students who are coming, not for the students, sorry, for skilled workers who are planning to come in. This starts from 4th March, sorry. And then there are temporary workers, student visa holders who are currently outside of New Zealand. That starts in phase 3, which is on April 12th this year. And step 4 is starting from July 2022, whereas an Australian citizen, Australian permanent resident, other nationals who are traveling from Australia can enter New Zealand. And from October 2022, the borders will open to all the other international New Zealand visa holders, which is including visitors and student visa, provided that you have a valid visa in hand. So students who are planning to come into New Zealand, the good news is that you are getting in New Zealand this year as the borders are opening, as most countries have opened the borders. We were just waiting for New Zealand to just come up with something good news. There are lots of other things that are going to come up now, with the government planning to give good number of scholarships, maybe reduction on tuition fees or whatsoever. So we'll get more live information in our upcoming sessions as such. So now we will have a Q&A. We have 2 of our alumni, Pranav and Karthik, who would be joining in. So Pranav and Karthik, may I request you to just a second? I think you have accept them. So Pranav and Karthik, I've accepted your request. Hi.
Hi.
Hi Karthik. Hi Pranav.
Hi.
So as you heard in the previous session also, we were there, and so we have a live now on Instagram. So everybody, for you to introduce, we have Pranav, who have studied his Masters of Construction Management in 2020 Feb. He landed up in New Zealand in Massey University. He studies his Master of Construction Management, and then he started working now. So is Karthik, who has studied his Masters of Construction from University of Auckland. He also went to New Zealand in Feb 2020, and since then they are there. So they will give you live hands-on information. So all the questions that you have, you can shoot. And I'll ask one by one Pranav and Karthik to share your experience with us when you landed up. So anyone can start. Pranav can go ahead first. It's fine.
Yep, thanks. And yep, it is pretty good experience with Advise when I just joined there because I just finished my engineering in 2019 and then just looking for an opportunity to for make my masters. And yep, and it's a good experience with Advise when I joined there, and it was almost 4 to 5 months. Yeah, 4 to 5 months. I just was working there with the members who have helped me for the high studies, and I was pretty much happy with their experience what I just entered there, and I got in New Zealand in 2020 February, yeah, 2020 February, and it was almost a pretty much a lockdown time, and yep, and then it goes. It my journey, my career started from there
Right.
as a student for almost an year, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Karthik,
and I
let's
finished
share.
my
Sorry. Yes.
masters.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Pranav,
I
go
just
ahead.
finished my masters in construction project management in Massey University for an year. I finished in 2021 February. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much we both joined landed over here at the same time. Yeah.
Karthik, please share your experience. How was it when you landed up, borders closed? Just how did it go for you? Karthik, we can't hear you. Karthik, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No. Yes, yes, now we can.
Yeah. There is no much difference between the experience of mine and Pranav because like we both landed here on same time, and after a month of time, it's been locked down over here and we had to continue our studies online. Yeah, like as I said, like I was a bit excited about the university life we're gonna have, but it was a bit disappointing one for us, like having a continuous studies from home and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, like when it comes to academic side and scoring marks and everything, it was pretty easy for us to do the assignments and stuffs. And luckily, we had like a group of people in the same apartment where we lived, so we just managed to do a combined study and everything. Yeah, it was much like
Right.
helpful.
Yeah. So, as we have spoken in the previous session on FB as well, and I want to know people out who are in Insta right now,
Mhm.
to just share your experience when it was studying online. How did it, make a big difference from the normal classroom-based pattern that we have here? And that's what the expectation that you hold and you went in. But no blame to anyone. All goes to Corona because of that. Things went haywire. And then, how was it for you to adapt to that environment of online studies? Is it that difficult or easy?
It was not that difficult.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy actually because like here the online classes are like usual thing. It's not because only of the lockdown. They usually
Hmm.
have online. We have the attendance is not mandatory. So
Hmm.
they usually have the recorded videos and sessions and everything. So whenever
Yeah.
the students go for the in-campus classes, they could take the recorded videos and stuffs and everything. So here there
Yeah.
was like not that difficult to adapt it because like
Yeah.
the normal education system is like usual one. They have both online and in-campus one. So it was pretty easy to
Correct.
get out an issue. Yeah.
Correct. Pranav, how was your experience? Just getting into the online study.
Yep, because I just doing my when I'm still doing my studies, it was 2 months when I'm in person in university, and then rest of things on online ones. There are some advantages and disadvantages too in online classes. There are the disadvantage one is we'll be lacking some references and contacts, these stuffs. And if we are in person, we'll be getting more contacts for our future career opportunities, these stuffs.
Mhm.
But we are the first batch for online course,
Correct.
and it is fine, it is good, and we experienced a lot. Yeah,
Hmm. Well,
and the assignments when we are doing, it's also good. We got good experience from professors and these stuffs. They are very friendly with them. Yeah, with us. Yeah.
but did any one of you flung in any subjects? Did that happen? Because many students they think that studies abroad is so difficult and it's comparatively so different. So was there any time that you thought that you might flung or you did flung in any subjects? No offense, but just want you to know that did you have any kind of experience in that area as such?
Now, what is the main thing is we need to the practice we in India we used to study what we have in the syllabus these stuffs, but
Right.
here they're giving us practical knowledge about what we are studying and
Yeah.
what we are thinking. What from this what we can get is if we are doing some assignments or these stuffs, it'll be pretty much easy to complete it without any other difficulties. But
True.
there are some subjects to get even to get difficult, but we came here in for management purpose, right, so that it is fine for us. We didn't get that much bad experiences in subject, but from my university is fine. But you can ask Karthik regarding that.
Yeah,
Karthik, how was it at your university? Because Pranav is from Messi and you have Auckland,
yeah,
both
like
in Auckland. So how
Auckland is
was
like
it?
bit strict with the academic stuffs. So they're
Yeah,
very strict with the plagiarism. Like usually all universities in New Zealand, they're very strict to the plagiarism stuffs.
yeah,
And like University of Auckland has like bit higher one when it comes for like the plagiarism and everything. And even
right.
awarding marks and grades, University of Auckland is like they be a bit strict. So they expect 100% efforts and stuffs. Only then we'll be getting higher grades. But luckily, there was no no hard assignments and everything. I could manage pass
The
everything.
students who are looking in for New Zealand, no plagiarism. Be clear about this part.
Of course,
Yeah.
because like they have legal actions to be taken here once a student caught with plagiarism. Yeah.
So beware, people. No plagiarism, no more Indian stuff there. We have to follow what New Zealand's follow. Okay, so how did you guys find your part-time job when you landed up there? Because obviously we go with this notion in the mind that we parents give us have to take care of your living expenses, and as a responsible person, we do look for a part-time job as soon as we land. But when you landed and then the borders shut, Corona came up, how easy or how difficult was it to, or how did you, what tip would you give the student that do this that helps to get a part-time job easily?
According to me, the part-time job is main. We need to have some contacts. The contacts gives us better reference on the job what we apply. So
Yeah.
that in my experience, we need to have some contacts before when we are getting into the part-time job or
So
searching into the
basically,
part-time job.
these
Yeah.
are references who help you to get a job, is what you're saying. You
Yeah, we need to have prior contacts. We can get part-time job, but it takes a bit time. When we are here, we don't have any other contacts before. We don't have any other seniors helping out here from here.
yeah, yeah,
And it took 2.5 months or 2 months for me to take my part-time job over here.
correct.
And that's also with the contacts what I got from there for the last 2 months. That's what
Hmm.
they helped. It helped me for the part-time job
Right.
over here. But now in October, when the first set of students are coming over here, it will be quite easy to get their part-time jobs for now. Yeah, there are lots of opportunities
Because
opening now.
because the border is opening and government needs people, so I think there'll be lots of openings for
Yeah,
students as such, right?
yeah.
Karthik, how was your experience searching a job when lockdown started?
Yeah, like initially it took like 2 to 3 months for me to get my first part-time job. That's because of the
Yeah.
lockdown were like shut down and like there were
Hmm.
losses also. So and again there were like previous employees who were working for them and they couldn't move out because of the lockdown. So it was like
Hmm.
a bit difficult for us to get the part-time job initially, but after two,
Yeah.
3 months, the businesses were normal and the country was normal again. It was like pretty easy
Yeah.
for us to job. And yeah,
Yeah.
at first like was lot of us like got jobs on the frontline workers because of like
Hmm.
the pandemic situation prevailing over here. And after that,
Right.
once everyone got their full-time job in their respective fields, the part-time jobs
Hmm.
like the wages become higher and we could move easily.
Hmm.
And as Pranav said, once students start coming after October 2022, there'll be lot many
Hmm.
opportunities for both full-time and part-time over here because like
Great.
is in search of many people now. Yeah.
Great. So New Zealand is a destination where we can target because there's lots of opportunities for students out here. So do they prefer Indian students? I mean, when it comes to job part, how is the scenario? Is it that they look for their localites or they prefer, foreigners itself? Or is it internationals like us are considered?
Actually, it depends. Depends on like what the job it is and what what the skill set we have and what the skill set is required for the job and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like over here, there is like less number to play with the numbers and calculations, mathematics and everything. And Indians are like bit best in mathematics and stuff. So we will be prepared kind of jobs like coming with construction, structural engineering, designing, calculations, quantity surveying, everything. Experience back in India and have like a larger skill set, and we'll be most preferred. It's not about the country we come from, but about the skill set we have. That's what like matters here.
Okay. So how your experience? Would you recommend students with your experience? What kind of tip or a trick that you would suggest, to behave in terms of when you land up in a country, or to get a part-time job, or to get a full-time job? What is that one tip that you would want to give to our students as such?
What I recommend is to develop as many contacts they can, like even before landing over here or even after coming here, whatever it is, keep developing the contacts. Or like here, the contacts play a major role in getting the jobs over here. It might be part-time, off-time, and anything. Higher the contacts you have, higher the ease of getting job over here.
Correct. Okay. And how is the PR part? Because I think someone's questioned in the chat box asking for a PR. How that scenario looks in the near future?
It again depends on like what level of degree you have, and again what job you're like. If you're in the same field you studied, and you will be getting the higher points. And like there'll be like some point systems over here. 160 is the score. So if we reach 160, there'll be like different criteria which we are after the points. And once they start coming, there might be increasing the point system to 180. So students, they don't need to worry about it. But once they get into work life, they themselves get to know like what to do, how to increase their points, and there are like different pathways to get the PR. So like once they get into the job market, they themselves will get to know like what to do and how to do it.
Shubham Jadhav, you have been mentioning a lot of things. Pranav is the president of New Zealand, and Pranav, and I don't know. Pranav, do you know anyone named Shubham Jadhav? He is giving lots on the. Is he your friend?
No. Shubham Jadhav, no.
No, he's been saying a lot of things. Shubham, there's anything in particular you would like to ask in terms of how to apply and how the process is? If you're really interested, then I think the chat goes really good ahead. If not, then I think if he doesn't know you, we will not entertain such kind of tips. Okay. So any questions from students that you would want to know of how, they can, or any question that you would want to know regarding New Zealand since they are live from there? Please ask in the chat box. We're fine with your questions. Mr. Wilvam, please. Pranav is not the next PM of New Zealand. Stop writing such comments in the chat box. There are so many people who are just mentioning Pranav is the next PM of New Zealand. Funny that is. Thank you anyways for making us laugh. Any questions from any students with regards to your process that you would want to know or anything? None? I think there would be no questions from students. Students also well versed. Let's see how the New Zealand thing goes further. And we really thank Pranav and Karthik for joining us today. And we would really look forward to have more information from you. We would share your contacts with students, and then you can help them, guide them for their further prospects if they're looking for. Thanks everyone for joining in, and we'll see you soon in your next session as such. Thanks, take care. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks.